do much with it. So I think it's time to just say, you know what, we'll go globals elsewhere on our team and try to take advantage of WE that way. This last ban going to be very important because Orianna is still going to be on the table, as well as the aforementioned Rumble.
So which one do you want to get rid of? It's Misfortune instead. They're going to wake a trade here. This is the cool part about playing counter pick, is that if you get a few of the OPs through, blue side can only take one of them. Now this is one of Sheer's best champions. He rarely does get access to it, and it is a strong enough laner. Are we going to immediately see things like the Scion come out for Cube, or is he going to go for his Rumble? WE, as a response, are going to snap up two of the strongest mid-jungle duos we have in the Azir and the Xin Zhao.
Dissuading the Orianna pick while the lane is fine, side laning is a little difficult. We'll see if LNG want to go into it anyway, right? There's a couple of champions that you could just throw the ball on and have a great time. Jack's going to be coming through the classic counter into the Xin Zhao.
Now, usually Orianna isn't a great delivery system with that champion, but I do like the Jax. I think the Jax offers a lot, not only versus the Xin Zhao, but into the solo lanes that WE are showing. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a pretty hard ask, I think, as WE to constantly stay safe with also thinking the equalizer. So we'll head into the second phase with no AD carries chosen. How much focus are we going to be putting into a player like About's champion pool? Because we've seen a lot of 1xN. We haven't really seen a ton out of About when it comes to expansive champion pools. I know we're getting the Sivir, the Ezreal. We're going to start to move down into things like Kalista. Jhin also, I think, a big priority, despite maybe some of the community's grumblings about this champion.
It's still a great champion when you need that little bit of extra utility coming out of your AD carry role. For About, I'm looking for maybe a Corki in this game to complement the early power of the Xin Zhao and try to get this Azir into the late game. For the side of LNG, well, I want to give something with agency to 1xN. Because we've seen in a couple of games where things don't go great for LNG, 1xN and missing. If you give them the tools to say we are going to win a fight, they have risen to the occasion.
Now this is Ashe. We've only seen Ashe paired up with Seraphine before, but I think operates in a very similar vein to Jhin in this one. I mean, the volleys are going to apply slows constantly to allow for Xin Zhao to catch up. That Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to get a lot of value versus what LNG have right now, and you have a ton of flexibility here. So I like this from Team WE. You have such a clear team fighting core around you, and now it's up to LNG to be able to answer that, whether that is in the lane or with something that's going to be a much better team fighter later on. Lucian, probably going to be Nami. Honestly, if we're really cooking, this also could have been a Emilio game, but I understand they're going to just try and slam them through the early laning phase. You have a Rumble to help you do that. You have the Lucian and the Nami. Now we need to see them actually connect on this.
Not only that, getting the tidal wave for that disruption later on in this game is going to be really important in these team fights. Still awaiting what Yaoyao is going to lock in here. As you said, it's usually been the Seraphine. Occasionally we've seen a Braum. It's the Seraphine this time around. Really liking what Team WE has on their side.
Yeah, I think maybe a problem that could pop up for WE is that they may be a little low in terms of DPM if Karis is put behind, but LNG are incredibly fragile this game. Yes, they have some winning lanes, and they have probably the best mid laner on the patch aside from Ryze, but if you're behind as Lucian Nami versus Ashe, the slow is going to basically stop you from really getting much damage down, or an ultimate, who's stopping this? Nobody from LNG. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, who's tanking this from LNG? You need to be ahead, and especially with a Lucian Nami and an Orianna, you need to be on objectives before your opponents. So I need to see very decisive play coming out from LNG, as WE basically get to dictate a large portion of this game to their opponents once they have access to those ultimates.
For BuLLDog, I don't think he needs to get fancy with these shockwaves. Hit a solo shockwave if it comes down to it. Anything you can do to make this game easier to play for your Lucian, because if I'm playing Lucian against this Team WE squad, I am very, very worried. I have to fight into an Ashe and an Azir. That is so difficult to fight through. Plus, you've got the Xin Zhao Crescent Guard. Like, you have to get into his range in order to deal your damage. There are big worries there, but As you mentioned, LNG, they do have early tools to be able to fight on a lot of these early dragons. I am specifically looking at these supports and the impact that their ultimates are going to make on this game. Game 2, Team WE LNG on the Rift.
WE fan chants were not in sync. You know, that is a demerit we'll have to put towards them.
Were you
Monki
rushing or were you dragging?
Basically. Oh, Jax is just coming straight over here.
Oh my.
We're not going to even allow him to try to do this.
All right, well, let's see. Monki immediately has to run away. Again, the secret sauce from Team WE will be set a little behind this time around, but that's not something Monki has ever really cared about.
Yeah, but this is, again, an early start for Monki that could be very dangerous if he's not able to do something creative or get himself back. He's starting his Raptor camp around 120. That's going to put him about 15 seconds behind the ball, while Jax is just farming. Jax is already done with his Wolf camp. He's going to go into Gromp, into his blue buff, and then he's perfectly fine. So instead of even clearing the rest of his bottom side, Monki is going to head straight into top lane and maybe even just go Raptors, blue buff, into top side gank. It's risky, but it's one way you can try to flip this matchup on top side, where I think the biggest point of the entire game right now is whether or not this Azir is going to be meaningful.
Oftentimes we talk about Jinzhao needing to really push the pace of the game, especially when you have a scaling mid laner like this. Be the bridge to get you into that late game, and you know, when you have a rough early start like that, it's always a little bit harder. The good news is we might just see Croco continue to farm up, so Monki could have the rule of the roost for the time being.
He's already 4 camps in, man. Like, this is dangerous. Jax is so dangerous here in this season. Just Trinity Force, and just with the heightened importance of needing to farm in jungle, Jax as one of those champions becomes a nightmare to deal with later on. See that 1xn and missing, or trying to abuse his Lucian Nami with that first strike that he has access to. And again, it's quite interesting to see what Monki's gonna be. Also, he went for PTA in this game, which is very unorthodox, especially in the counter matchup.
We got heal and barrier out of this bottom lane, but About and Yaoyao are looking to fight back. The problem is,
oh my god,
there are a lot of minions that they have to try to contend with. Monki,
what is
coming
Monki
in
doing?
No, this is a big flank here. He has ended up down here somehow, some way. It's just the Monki way. We're going to go on to 1xn. Missing does not have the mana. Flash for flash, but the knockup is there, and it's first blood for Monki.
The knockup past the dash into the wind becomes lightning slow. Perfect from Monki. And he gets the summoner spell out from 1xn. So a good way of getting his bot lane involved, even though they get no assist or any credit for that one. Missing, and we're going to get the solo?
Oh my goodness, Missing. He's just that guy, man. We're looking at vintage Missing now.
Oh god. Oh god, run.
He doesn't.
All right. I think he should. I think this Xin Zhao can do very mean things to him if he stays in this lane, but he wants to get the wave crashed. He knows his AD carries probably like, guys, please get the wave underneath the turret. I don't need to get frozen on by an Ashe and a Seraphine. Especially as Lucian Nami, you want the wave to be in the middle so you can try to poke them out and get a little bit more than just your Ardent Blaze. Also means that they're going to be desynced on their recall timers. Missing still hasn't hit his recall. So Lucian's probably going to have to take a back seat on the next 45 seconds of this lane as Ashe Seraphine catch up. And that doesn't really do much for LNG, but in the meantime it gives WE a little bit more time here.
One thing to mention is that the weird pathing from Monki resulted in Croco being unable to counter it. Croco was able to do that against Thundertalk pretty often, and one of the few times where I didn't expect the Jinzhao to be down there, so by pushing bot lane, I thought they were safe. If you're not able to protect them like that, this is how you can get burnt badly and put them in bad positions, especially against the Ashe there.
That's his bot lane's fault, not him, okay? This is a rare moment where I will defend my jungler and say,
I think that's fine. Look, but you know,
this guy is in Super Narnia. Like, we don't know where Monki is, right? Like, he did one camp. He didn't even try to contest me on my wolves, and then I don't know where he's pathing at that point. So that is, I think, more credit to the fact that Monki is being very creative here in this game.
Oh, no doubt about it. I'm seeing missing walk up here. He's just going to get some vision, try to clear some vision out, but about Yaoyao again. If you get tagged by them once, you're getting tagged by them twice, you're getting tagged by them thrice.
I think that this right here is going to be a microcosm of this game is, can we get Nami or someone else to walk forward into this poke? Now, big flank from Croco. Still flashing here for about.
All right, we're going to look for Yaoyao. He flashed into the end of the counter-strike, but he's fine.
He tanked it. He was like, look, it's like I'm playing Brawl.
Oh.
Very close
All right,
there from Karis.
It's okay. He's not meant to win the lane. It's fine. You know, we're going to waste some time with Monki there, but otherwise, no worse for wear. Is LNG Croco hovering around this bottom crab, wants to try to hit level 6. He's a little bit of EXP away, though.
I think it's mostly just here for the scuttle. We're here to pick up this scuttle, get ourselves level 6, and get recruited smite as well. BuLLDog just maintaining priority. Let's use a shockwave, clear out the wave, force Karis underneath this turret, and make it easier for our Jax to live a little bit longer. As you saw by getting that bottom side scuttle, Croco won't have hit 6, but will have the additional damage on his smite right now. And maybe there's a fight even brewing in bottom lane. See that Monki wants to aggress.
Walking forward, he's going to engage on the missing. Heal burnt, but now 1xN is split from the rest of the squad. And down it goes missing. Yaoyao will be picking that one up.
And they stopped the dragon being done here. So, WE, whether it is them kind of respect checking LNG or recognizing that they can actually play around with this comp of having a ranged Enchanter Seraphine with this Xin Zhao, this is a big win for them. I'm liking. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We sent in an Enchanted Crusader to maybe look for BuLLDog. But, yeah, still, they stopped the dragon, right? And they got the kill.
Really fantastic stuff from Team WE. And what I like is that they didn't try to overcook the play and ruin their tempo and go back on the dragon here. Now the ball is in LNG's court, it feels like. This Lucian Nami hasn't really had the intended effect that you want. And now it almost feels like you have to try to push the pace of your Croc.
And a reminder that for WE, it has been a long time since they've won a best of 5. We go all the way back to Split 2. And this Team WE team, I mean, they crashed out after losing, or after beating Top Esports. They move into Split 3, and they had an even worse time in the regular season. And then they fall to EDG. And we're looking at him here in this bracket. Yeah, sure, you're going up against Top Esports, but even that one could have been a little bit more close, even as a 5-game series. They got clapped in games 3 and 5. So the fact that they're playing still around Monki, they're still playing their kind of innovative style where they do some unorthodox things, especially early invades in this meta right now, almost unheard of because of the changes we've made to jungle.
Not only has it been so long since they've won a best of 5, but I think it's been a long time since they've played a best of 5 with this sort of gravitas around it, right? We're seeing an engage on the bottom side here. The tidal wave going to land about, force the flash away. Culling going to be mostly blocked by Yaoyao, but the dash forward and the Q takes him down. Cleanse from flash from 1xN, and he's out of it.
If he was underneath that turret for even a moment longer, that turret goes out and kills him immediately. Or damn near close to it with the ebb and flow that missing is giving him into the healing. A very expensive trade, but a minion wave and a half that's going to be missed here by Yaoyao. Ash is still picking this up. I think it's an okay find here for both. I mean, for LNG, you're probably saying, cool, we found a kill. If you're WE, you're looking at it like, all right, like, it sucks that our Seraphine died, but we're still going to have level 6 coming up soon, and we still have buttons to play with. Having no flash versus either a Jax or a Xin Zhao does feel pretty miserable as an AD carry.
No, you and I both know that feeling all too well. And, you know, unfortunately for 1xN and missing, they had to really make that play, because if your Lucian doesn't have the sort of damage early on, you know, you're not able to really control the mid game through that mid wave. Now, he's got a serrated Dirk into a slingshot there. Interesting choice of build here.
I think that slingshot is if they put any actual damage on this item, it would be broken, because it is...
Yes.
Your first auto deals a little bit more, and then every auto after that reduces the cooldown on a... if I remember correctly, is a 30-second cooldown on this item. So Lucian gets a lot of value. Thanks to the Light Slinger passive, you're getting double autos, you can get a little bit... You can squeeze a little bit more. Shira's moving down. They want this dragon. First dragon at 10.5 minutes is rather delayed, but Cube doesn't have teleport, and Sheer does, so he'll be able to re-answer the top lane if he really wants to.
And Team WE know this is going on, but they have already displayed in this series that they can show restraint. Seeing some pings onto Yaoyao and about, but LNG don't have a way to do anything more, so it's just a dragon for them.
So the trade here is a dragon for the team, where WE's top laner gets some time to get back into this game, and did at least pick up 3 grubs, so you're doing okay here as WE. You were able to grab 2 plates there for this Ornn, which gold much necessary for him to not only finish his items, but make sure he's keeping up with this Rumble. Let's see a dive on bottom lane. Monki and Yaoyao being spotted by Croco. BuLLDog very far away from the play, so I like that 1xN and Missing are playing up in the lane against about who they know is by himself.
There was smoke, but not quite a fire there. So now we're 11.5 minutes into this game. This Monki is going to revisit. Missing in 1xN under the turret for right now. Croco is on his way. Just trying to do whatever they can to prevent 1xN and Missing from exerting some of this pressure. Monki gonna dodge out on the bubble. And again, we're still looking for something, but nothing is quite there. And now Monki says, yeah, I'll go in on you, Croco. I'm not afraid of this counter matchup. Monki might be afraid of Missing in 1xN, looking to cut him off. Here comes the tidal wave. Flash could be burned. Equalizer's there, and they're burning away. It doesn't matter the encore, because it's a double kill for Lucian, and Sheer will clean up the end of the fight.
A big mistake coming in from Monki. I mean, you have no mid priority to be able to move that early, and you know bottom lane can try to answer from LNG, so why go into the Jax? That just feels like a big mistake. If anything, use your bot lane, get yourself that bottom side scuttle, and call the play off. That felt like a Monki that we were expecting coming into the series. Yeah, look, BuLLDog right now is forcing him away. Sheer teleports out, and this is kind of the reward for not using this on that dragon. He comes up right behind. Monki uses the Crescent Guard to try to block as much damage as possible, but the team is just getting cooked on the Sequelizer. And obviously the ultimate there, the Monsoon from Missing, was great at being able to set that up. So LNG now explode to a pretty massive gold lead with a lot of those kills going over to 1xN.
Globally, we've seen some questionable Rumble ultimates, but that one was damn near perfect. LNG in the driver's seat, 2,500 gold up. And, you know, if Sheer can make more impact like that in these fights, be a big reason why LNG would be able to win game 2. Remember that that Gnar game left a lot to be desired, but he's already playing with that fire.
Ornn got another plate on top side. I'm going to keep talking about this because Ornn interacts so uniquely compared to other champions with his items. Karis gets a pretty disgusting trade put down on him from BuLLDog. But, oh, this is the laning version of Orianna. It's unfortunate that we're not seeing Arcane Comet, but we are getting Ludens, so he's going to do a hell of a lot versus this Azir, especially in the lane if he uses those shockwaves. I think Monki got spotted there. Monki was spotted at the very end of that one with the vision. 1xN and Missing still walk forward.
Nice sidestep there on the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Croco is here, but he might be a little too late. Crescent Guard just to keep him away. We've got the insurance teleport from Q.
Are they going to go for more on this turret? They still have 3 grubs. Herald doesn't spawn for another 45, but Cube, he has so much HP here. This should be them moving in with this Demolish. Try to get a lot of gold for themselves. They're going to split that 3 ways. Not the best, but this is just to hopefully get... We're going for more?
Yeah. Call the Forge God. It's not going to land on anybody. Monki isn't able to hit the Wind Becomes Lightning, but they're still going to look for Croco anyway. Encore just a little too late. But Monki is so low, but that last auto didn't do enough. But the one shot of the culling will get it done for 1xN.
Sheer, I really feel like he should be getting more out of this turret, but afraid of Karis moving over with this Azir. We've had a lot of focus on bottom lane so far here in this series. I mean, game number 1, multiple ganks from Monki with this Jarvan. game number 2, we've had almost exclusively fighting in the bottom side river here. But we have yet to really tackle the big issue for WE, and this is Azir. This Azir is farming up a storm regardless of the trades that BuLLDog takes, and he has already completed his first item. He's now in a side lane, and maybe he gets another turret plate here in this lane. Herald's on his side of the map. If LNG cannot properly answer this, I think that Karis has a pretty open runway to carry this game.
And it's not like the last game where you had a Vi and a Nautilus. They were able to just directly target out this Azir. You're not going to have that opportunity. As long as the game is in touching distance, Karis should be in an okay spot. He's been a level, not a full level up on BuLLDog, but a little bit of experience up. So it's made it easy in the heads-up 1v1s. We see Herald got started up, but has since been pulled away. Dragon also on the table. And with LNG's gold lead, they're going to be the ones dictating what objective is coming up next.
Karis is going to TP bottom lane. Orianna just went to top side, so they're going to give up this turret so they can get Dragon. I think it's a very costly objective because if they don't start this immediately, Orianna can still walk.
Croco is there. Croco's down to about half HP, and Monki wants to keep going. His Channel Crested Arrow lands flush. Counter-Strike is there, along with a big knock-up from Missing to prevent any further damage.
BuLLDog's not even walking. We're going to continue to go. I mean, more turret plates. Let's try to keep up economy with the Azir. Azir's going to trade on bottom side. I am absolutely shocked that LNG are not willing to trade with so many ultimates missing.
There's an equalizer. Monki Cube on the backside, causing a
dead.
ruckus. Monki's gonna go down, Missing, able to get out of there, but now Team WE is leading the way. BuLLDog is on his way. Ball is on Rumble.
Shockwave.
Let's see if BuLLDog can find a Shockwave here. Elects not to fire it there, and he'll keep it in the back pocket for now. Croco wants it, but he's caught in the back of the pit. Be able to leap a strike back over.
All right, turret for turret in trade. LNG will actually end up going 2 for 1 at the end of this. But it's all about where this gold went. Those turrets went to our solo lanes, the mid lanes here in this game. Azir and Orianna. But Dragon goes over to WE, and I think they made out like bandits in that play. Also picking 1xN at the very start of that. Beautiful from Monki, this turn from him. They don't have eyes in the pit. They don't see him on the left side of the river. So he just dives right onto 1xN. This Azir is ripping them apart. Missing has to flash out, and BuLLDog doesn't have ultimate for another 3 seconds in this play. I think if that cooldown was even just a hair shorter, maybe LNG could have turned this. They find themselves with 3,500 gold lead, but thanks to inflation in this season and just general the amount of gold that's available to everybody, it's gonna feel like maybe last year's 1.5 at this point.
That's generally the vibe we've been seeing around the world, whether it be competitive or solo queue. It's going to be a Rift Herald going over to the side of LNG, so it's going to be in the back pocket of Croco for him to use at any time. One Dragon apiece. The Dragon taking has been fairly slow in this game, which we'll say seems to favor WE, especially if you're really incentivized to just get Karis into this hyper late game. So far, 0-0-0, behind on CS right now, but not disrupted, and I think that's the most important.
Here's the culling from 1xN. He is very far ahead, and this is I think the power point of this champion here in this game. Playing aggressively on mid waves, punishing a champion like Ashe, who with no mobility spells, if she doesn't have a flash, a barrier, or a teammate next to her, she just gets blown up. And so 1xN has to basically play uninhibited. If he ever gets stopped, I think this team starts to fall off the rails. Great buffer from Cube.
All right, here comes the call of the Forge God. Music gonna hit. Knocks up 2 members on the backside, but Team WE is unwilling to help out their friend. Monki, good pressing card, but everybody gets on top of him quickly. Encore only hits 1, and LNG pick up 2.
The side laning as WE is not as strong. They're going to even summon the Herald here. Azir's trying to push on top lane, but there's not even a wave for him to play for. Lucian and Rumble will recall, stopping him from going any further here. LNG are really taking advantage of their composition and not only how flexible it can be in these small skirmishes in the jungle, but relative to their opponents, I think they just have stronger tools on average. WE have a very competent 5-on-5 team fight, but if they are caught in a side lane where not everybody's there and not all the pieces are together, as we saw, it can fall apart very, very quickly. Great movements from LNG to not only take control of mid lane, but transfer that pressure into the side lanes.
And to their credit, they haven't had as many issues in Game 2 as they did in Game 1 in terms of getting picked off and being out of position. This time around, they're the ones who are, you know, forcing the picks on Team WE. And as you mentioned, just the strength that you get when having the solution be so far ahead like that, being able to control the mid wave means that you're able to rotate first. You're able to make sure that Team WE can't bring extra members to a play.
3-item Lucian at 20 minutes. Big investment here for 1xN. Had some questions as to whether or not he would deliver. Still yet to see in this series if he can bring home those big carry performances. So far from what I've seen from 1xN historically is great in the regular season, has a lot of good games under his belt where we kind of see him as an up-and-coming top prodigy in this role. But I think in the big moments, the big best of fives, we saw some of this at Demacia Cup, and we saw this obviously last year. He does tend to struggle. I think sometimes he tries to overplay his hand because he's been on some losing teams, so he has to kind of make those desperation plays. And that right there could cost you a lot of games. It could also win you some. So as long as he can dial that in and find that focus, I think 1xN can continue to be a very exciting prospect. Seeing some teleports into mid lane. Dragon is spawning now. WE really want to try to force themselves through this, but about his... Gotta have to find a recall, or Yaoyao has to keep giving him more heals with his diadem.
And this means if About can't join, that shield's gonna fall off of the Team WE top laner, which is a big deal. We're not gonna see a call the Forge God in the mid lane. Chitter Crystal doesn't hit anybody. Neither does the Encore. It's a disaster fight for Team WE. LNG are starting to rip them apart. Sheer is lighting up Monki, and Cube can only waddle to his death. LNG picking up an ace and heading to the Baron.
5 for 1, I think we'll take that trade. And even Baron on top? WE, you really shouldn't have. An amazing fight there. It felt WE were split between wanting to move out of the river and move their front line from mid lane into the brush. Weren't able to do that. About took a very long path to get back into that fight, and LNG smacked them down in this play. I mean, look at where their AD carry is. AD carry and Zinzao, bottom side of the fight. Enchanted Crusader misses, and they put all this focus on a BuLLDog, but no one's there to follow up. Monki has to flash, he has to go forward with his ultimate, and by the time that has happened, his backline has been eviscerated with a shockwave and a culling. Great job from both BuLLDog and 1xN to close out this fight before it even began.
And this has been one of Team WE's problems, not fighting as a team. That said, things were difficult to start when About was missing a lot of HP, but they're unable to link up together. They all stand divided, they fall divided. This is a Dragon for LNG, a 7,000 gold lead for them as well. And it's time to slow it down and start working down these turns.
They're going for 2 lanes right now. They're going to go for a 3 and 2. Currently, Jax and Rumble should be able to finish off this turn in front of this Ornn. Azir is trying to farm. We talked about Azir being potentially a pressure point that WE could use to leverage themselves here in this game. Another big trade from 1xN is now applying so much of themselves through the mid lane. Karis, it's probably going to be your last wave before you have to recall. Remember, these are baroned up minions, so LNG are just printing gold.
Croco here, Counter-Strike is up. Here comes Call of the Forge God, but another tidal wave is going to disrupt this. Encore lands onto 2. This is an odd man fight, and About from the side, but Croco's on top of him. He's got to flash away. Croco is able to finish him off, and Sheer from behind is causing some problems. Cube and Monki have to run, and Cube has nowhere to go. Falls to 1xN.
I mean, just... how are you supposed to play versus Jax, man? Jax is such a great counter to the Zinzao and the Ashe, and we saw it right there. He just jumps right in and takes away About. And Karis didn't even get to really move in that fight. He gets to the area, and the fight's already over. Everything's already been completed. More turrets have fallen in favor of LNG, and now cresting a 9,000 gold difference for them here in game number 2.
In order for this Azir to be able to turn the game in your favor, the gold has to be within touching distance. And Alk, it's not even close right now. Take a look at this replay. I mean, it's not bad for WE, but I mean, when you can't kill Croco on the side, you're never gonna win.
Grandmaster's Might and the Sundered Sky Heal gets him above the threshold for Ashe. Also didn't see it immediately in this play, but on the mini-map, Azir was in the middle of a recall. Rumble had gone back to base, walked up to the mini wave, and Karis canceled his recall. So he moved very far back to get back in, and Sheer just teleported. So a very smart advantage found by LNG's top laner gives them the numbers that they need at the very end. That equalizer really helping them secure those final bits of kills there. So LNG, now we come back out of the replay, playing through the top side jungle. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands, but effectively misses, and no one's able to take advantage.
The equalizer's not great. Neither is this Encore. Tidal Wave coming through just to disrupt as Karis eats a shockwave into the face. Cube coming in, call the Forge God. It's going to land on the two members, but Croco is ready with the counter-strike. Knockups are there.
Okay.
BuLLDog's going to fall. Team WE fighting out of a corner and doing it damn well. Croco and 1XN have to run for the hills as Team WE are still on the chase. Heal getting used. They're trying to find 1XN. LNG has grouped to back up. It's still a 4v5. Still need to find a way out for the moment. Monki flashing forward, and he finds missing. 5v3. When Team WE plays as a unit, they're damn good, but Sheer's lighting him up because he's overheated. They've both gone golden. Team WE surrounding them like a pack of wolves, but About and Karis, they're spaced out of this fight. Cube is low. Sheer taken down by Karis, and it's Croco against the world. He's on the wrong side of the map too, but he'll be able to leap strike out for the moment.
That's what I'm talking about, though. LNG overextend on a topside play. Way too many of their abilities do not land, and they don't have the requisite damage to really force that issue. LNG pay very dearly, losing a flash from Sheer, losing Missing's flash as well. The only way this could have gone worse is if 1XN had also flashed after he had died. I mean, do we really have to take a look at this replay? The equalizer's doing no damage. Look at where your team is. We're never getting into this area. Even the Encore, we were questioning whether or not it was good enough. It bought time for the teleports to land here. And Yanni, the rest of this team fight, I honestly, the thing that I'm more pressed about is that we have lost so many key summoner spells on both ends right before the dragon is about to spawn. We're gonna come out of this replay, and it's about a minute before it's 30 seconds actually.
The good news for Team WE is if they want, they can give it away. If you want Karis to get more time to scale, he picked up 3 kills in that fight. All of a sudden, we're talking about this Azir maybe putting in enough work to get the job done. I was worried that after all that, when he was split pushing, he only came back with a Vert and Barrier, but now he's just finished his Rabadon's Death Cap. We'll see if he's going to make an impact in this fight. He does have his teleport.
And if Karis was just a little bit more patient, he could have had an Ornn upgraded Rabadons. But not the case. Already have a couple of items being given Masterworks here from the Ornn. Croco's going to solo this, and I like this from LNG. Let's play high up on the mid wave here. WE are in no position to contest. As soon as that dragon gets called out, though, do they try to make a play? Remember, no flash on Monki for them to find a knock-up here. Baron spawns, they have Azir, the two of them are going to start this. They're not on vision, they use the wind becomes lightning to get over that scuttle.
Well, About's going to step on it now, and they've realized LNG's got to be the ones to step on the gas. Here's Ornn trying to disrupt.
It's gone.
There's an ultimate. Cube coming through, call the Forge God, going to land. Sheer's going to go golden. Team WE, they want to take this fight. Encore's going to land on a 1. Croco to the backside, the shockwave's there too! Karis is still alive for the moment, but guess who dies? It's Monki on the other side. Cube landing a knockup, just trying to get Team WE out of there, but 1XN wisely spotting out Karis. It's a triple kill for the Lucian.
He not only prevents all of them from keeping their Baron, but also gets the teleport from this Azir. A massive fight for LNG, all set up thanks to this Jax and Orianna combo. I was dismissive. I was going to say, look, you could try to put it on Jax, but it's not as clear and cut as maybe a Vi or even a Xin Zhao, but he made it look easy there with BuLLDog. He gets a massive shockwave combo. And the only people who get that Baron is About. About escapes with his life, but this Ashe is not a meaningful champion here in this game. She's Enchanted Crystal Aerobot. She's there to take off the first strike off of this Lucian if she lands her volley, and that's about it.
And remember, Baron doesn't give you nearly as much gold as it used to. It's only 750 across the entire team.
What is the range on this, by the way? Look at where BuLLDog is. Oh, he set it up. It wasn't even with the Jax. I misspoke. He attaches at the very end.
Oh, what a play by BuLLDog. That was so nice.
Yeah, BuLLDog and Croco absolutely smurfing it in. Especially Croco, big MVP in Group Nirvana, probably going to be the #1 jungler for that group, performing admirably here in this game. The Jax, I mean, he had a perfect counter situation. He knew what the matchup was going to be, and it felt like WE kind of continued to play into that with their draft.
I was a little surprised that Karis elected to teleport there instead of use the Baron recall. Obviously, it's a second shorter, but it's such a huge risk. Did not pay off. Will be problematic very soon, I'd imagine. You take a look at this negative Baron power play for Team WE, not looking so hot. They're staring down Ocean Soul for LNG in 2.5 minutes, and this is not a team that has a lot of burst damage.
I just need to have one team fight. That's the scary part about WE, is that if they get one fight where suddenly everything clicks or they're able to have that clean 5-on-5, none of this gold matters. Right? Like, we're going up into what is potentially going to be LNG Soul here in 2 minutes, but the strong, raw value of these champions paired together on Team WE can wipe all of that away if they can get lucky. All 5 of them sitting on this mid lane.
Crystal Arrow is there. What a shockwave coming down, but it's not enough. BuLLDog is golden, but all that glitters is not gold. He will fall, and it's Team WE. They had a 5v3, and they're looking for more. Karis will shove away Croco, get right in his face, and survive anyway. Team WE are shoving down mid right now.
Can they end the game, though? They've got 3 grubs. They've got no Baron left for them. It is 1xN and Sheer. Great equalizer. That'll keep them in this game. Inhibitor will fall, and not another minion wave will go forward. That is exactly the things we talked about from the draft. Who is tanking this Enchanted Crystal Arrow? Who is going to stop this Encore from surging forward and finding them the win? WE, they need to reset, and they need to get back onto the map, because this Dragon is pivotal. 20 seconds still left on Croco as we head to a replay here. There's nothing to stop them. Look at where Sheer's teleporting, right? I don't even think it really matters. Croco is in his blue side jungle. They landed all of their abilities, and even with the shockwave that clean from BuLLDog, the damage has been done. WE find themselves and cut that gold lead in half immediately.
As you said, gold is fake in this season.
Correct.
And that was a great representation of why. 30 seconds until this next fight. You know Team WE's got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. In LNG, there might be some nervous stomachs over there. But if LNG can find themselves a 5v5 fight, we've seen what BuLLDog's Orianna can do. He's been really solid on the shockwaves.
Oh. 2 things I want to note. We won't see it here in this picture with the HUD how it is, but sitting on double needlessly large rods for BuLLDog, he is so close to getting himself a Rabadon. And 1xN has 2 items over this Ashe. I need to see Lucian smurf this fight and win it, because this is a very tenuous game. Massive flank from Croco.
Team WE has problems with flanks. They're going to get on top of Croco, though. No. Croco goes golden. Here's that shockwave. It lands on the 2 members, but they can't finish him off. About gets shields, and he heals up. And now there's a problem.
Monki,
because Monki's going in, leading the charge, along with Karis, commanding the Sand Soldiers. Monki takes a lot of damage, but he does not go down. Team WE muscle LNG off the Dragon.
It is so tough to move a Xin Zhao, level 17, with a Seraphine. The Diadem of Souls giving so much healing alongside this upgraded Redemption. WE are fighting back in this game, and Yanni, I gotta say, not only winning game 1 in the fashion that they did, but LNG losing this game too, if that comes to bear, is a huge hurdle for them to try to jump over here in this series.
Not only the fact that you'd be down 2-0, but the mental damage that is going to do. It might be too much to overcome. I think 1xN might need to start playing in that mode where he's like, I have to be the one to make a play. And that means that he could be liable to make a mistake in these upcoming fights. Baron is now available. Team WE feeling good, winning the last couple of fights for themselves. despite solid conditions from LNG.
That flank from Croco just did nothing, right? Like, he just walked in, he got the spell shield off of Karis, but that's it. Croco's gonna look again.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow, it's on Sheer. Tidal Wave comes through, only hits one. The Shockwave didn't hit anybody! And now it's Team WE's fight to win. Equalizer just to try to burn the wave away. But here comes Cube. Call the Forge God. BuLLDog, single down. He's golden, but LNG can't help him out. Team WE a 5v3 advantage. Croco trying to get to this next wave. Desperately trying to pull it to ensure that WE can win the game.
Missing?
Over on the side, missing. It was a teleport by Karis looking to find Croco. Well, Zoni is the Emperor's defied, but the rest of WE are there to take him down.
Look at the death timers, 30 seconds before before Sheer comes up. They've got a minion wave. Yanni, I might have just seen WE come back from a 7,000 gold deficit here, and a massive one to put them 2-0 in this series.
Team WE were on death's doorstep, and now they're ready to dance at the nexus of LNG here in Game 2. Sheer's not up for 5 seconds, and that's 5 seconds too long as the nexus turrets fall, and Team WE go on match point.
The gold graph for this game is going to show LNG still having the gold advantage while their nexus explodes. Resiliency from WE. They knew what they needed to accomplish, and even with mistakes from themselves, LNG's composition did not give them very many options if they made a mistake. Limited in terms of engage. You have a Jax that is only there, and that's it. We asked for, if you're not going to play engage support, you gotta find it somewhere else. You cannot have these team compositions that are very, very fragile like this.
The tidal wave is good enough sometimes, but it was not good enough this game, Alk. And I look back toward that top lane fight where LNG stepped just a little too far, and that, again, we talked about WE. You give them an inch, they'll try to bust the door down. They were able to in that fight. That's where Karis got his kills. And a huge, huge win to give themselves a large advantage in this series for WE.
Yeah, so we're looking back at this draft. I'm just really confused, I gotta say, Yanni, because, like, again, the top side of this map I think is okay. Again, Jax gets so much value versus this composition from WE. But you need engage from the bottom lane. I think you can't go Lucian Nami here in this instance, or at least you have to pair Lucian with a Braum, with a Leona, right? These are just things that are going to make it easier for you in the late game. We see them get punished here. WE took a very greedy draft. They got punished in the laning phase from the bottom lane. Karis was near invisible. Cube got to lose out gracefully in the Rumble matchup. And even with Monki making a few mistakes, they were the ones that were winning in the early game. They slammed the bottom lane trio to try to grab an objective lead for themselves. And while they kind of slowly got themselves to that point, it took a single fight and the game just blows up from there.
When it comes down to it, come hell or high water, it comes down to Monki, Team WE's leader, just going in on some angles that it's like, man, you're down so much and you're just running in with reckless abandon. Well, you've got the Crescent Guard to mitigate damage. You've got the Death's Dance. He was much tankier than his health bar appeared, and they could not take this guy down in the later fights. He bought so much time for his team's sustained damage to do their work.
I am so impressed with WE showing not only just the wherewithal to stay in this game. There's that gold graph I was mentioning. Look at the damage numbers on this thing. You're never winning a game like this in any other league. I think you're never winning this in any other scenario where it's group Perseverance versus a group Nirvana. Like, this should have been an LNG win, and the fact that they lost this is an indictment against them. I think it is so good for WE, who now have, at the very least, they've got 2 games to kind of spend on house money and kind of test some things out. Maybe they want to try a champion to add into their pool, come for playoffs. But LNG, I need to see probably the most boring draft of all time. I know we're not going to have access to Azir. We're not going to have... But Wukong is still up, right? We can still go for some Wukong action here in this game, in the series. I need to see something. because this is not the LNG that I subscribed with.
No, and we talked about, is there any secret sauce that they have? They didn't display anything in this game. I mean, you take a look at these early game highlights, if that's all you're digesting for this game, you could be like, oh man, well, LNG must have crushed this game. Well, they were crushing it. And then they took a loss, and this game displayed to me, Alk, that LNG might not be ready for group ascent.
I cannot believe that none of well, I can kind of believe, but with, we're talking about recency, I was all aboard the OMG hype train. So to see them lose, not massively surprising, but still heartbreaking. To see this LNG team lose, I think is really, really worrying. Because I'm looking at Group Nirvana for next season. We've got EDG, we've got LGD, OMG, Thunder Talk, Ultra Prime, more of the usual suspects. LNG were a big part of this Group Nirvana narrative last year. And to see this lineup fail,
I don't know, man. This team was meant to make it to Ascend. This team was meant to be able to beat a team like WE, and they're just not able to do so in this series so far. It's not over yet. It is a 2-0 deficit. We have seen teams come back from something like this, but I think it's going to be hard, especially with the way that Team WE has been playing. They showed resiliency not only in this game, as you said, but they've shown resiliency because their season has gone so poorly recently. Remember, we said earlier, they have not won a series since January 26th. That is so long ago if you are a professional player to go that long without a win, but it's not affecting them here today.
I mean, hell, I don't even remember what I was doing on January 26th. Probably not casting their series, so makes sense.
I was working, I'll tell you that much.
More than I was.
Some of us are employed.
So, as we said at the beginning of the show, some of us are more employed than others. But it's exciting.
LNG might be saying that soon. Who knows?
Who knows? It seems like WE really used that one-day break to good use. Maybe some resets, maybe Coach Jinjin stepping in and really setting the tone for these guys. Like, guys, we're not going back to Nirvana. Like, we're not doing this again, okay? We're going to Ascend. We're gonna play. We're gonna get scrims versus BLG and Top Esports and Anyone's Legends and JDG and Weibo, and we're gonna improve. Monki probably put his foot down, as we see here, saying, "Look, I'm not going back, okay? Losing Top Esports. Look." Have I won an MSI? 369 has, but has anybody on this team? No. I'm getting my get back. We're going to Ascend, boys.
Get it, loser. We're going to Ascend.
Actually, missing's on the enemy team. See, this is why this doesn't work, guys. He's washed, guys. It's fine.
Okay. You know what? You didn't really get to flex that much on the Nami. Another MVP for Monki this time around. I am with it. I think it was well deserved on his part to lead the charge. Team WE leading the charge to Ascend potentially, showing great perseverance in that second game. We'll see if LNG are able to do the same. We're going to head to a break, and when we return, the Game 3 could be the final draft of the day. Team WE, LNG, back after this.